Hey guys, Haseo here, just offering a little unscripted introduction slash update. This video has taken a lot longer than I thought it would because I've run into writer's block, I've run into problems with my camera, just problems on top of problems. I've also had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that's left me with less time to work on videos, so I've been putting more of that focus towards streaming. And yeah, I'm just glad to finally get this one out. And I apologize for the lack of camcorder footage because I can't get that to work properly at the moment. So in the meantime, I'm going to have to substitute my cute little avatar here, provided to me by Husk the Husky, the director of the Danganronpa fan dub. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the review! After 3 hit games, or rather 2 hits and 1 miss, Devil May Cry has easily made a name for itself as one of the titans of the PS2 era. However, after Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition was released, the next generation of consoles was well underway. It was time for Devil May Cry to make the leap to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and in 2008, we were graced with Devil May Cry 4, a somewhat radical departure compared to the previous games. Dante was no longer the main character, instead being replaced by a newcomer, Nero, and the darker aesthetic of 1 through 3 with their gothic architecture and perpetual nighttime setting gave way to a city based on the Vatican that mostly took place during the day. With Devil May Cry 3 setting the bar of quality so high, would Devil May Cry 4 have any hope of reaching that standard, if not surpassing it? As usual, we'll start with a spoilerific plot summary. Skip to the point on screen to avoid having the story ruined for you. Our story begins in an unspecified time between the events of Devil May Cry 1 and 2 in the city of Fortuna, with a young man named Nero on his way to church so he can meet up with his childhood friend and love interest, Kyrie. This isn't your ordinary church, however. The whole town has devoted itself to worshipping Sparta, and is led by Sanctus and his Order of the Sword. Before Sanctus can finish delivering his sermon, however, Dante bursts in and shoots him. Chaos ensues, and Nero faces off against Dante, with Dante inevitably escaping. During the battle, Nero sheds the sling he was wearing to reveal his demonic arm, the Devil Bringer. Demons begin swarming the city, and Kyrie's brother and head of the royal guard, Credo, tasks Nero with tracking down Dante to avenge Sanctus's murder. Nero first journeys to a nearby castle where he meets a new member of the Order, and holy tits and ass! She introduces herself as Gloria, and seems to take some interest in Nero. They part ways, and Nero continues through the castle. Meanwhile, we see that Sanctus has been brought back from the brink of death through a ritual led by the Order's top scientist, Agnus. Certainly nothing bad will come from this. Nero discovers Agnus's secret lab and confronts the stuttering scientist, who reveals that the Order has been controlling the demons all along, and that he's in possession of the shattered remains of Virgil's sword Yamato. Nero fixes and steals Yamato, awakening his full demonic power, causing Agnus to flee. Back at the Order's headquarters, Sanctus decides that Nero knows too much about their plans, and orders Credo to eliminate him, with Gloria taking over the pursuit of Dante. Nero reaches the Order HQ and has a duel with Credo, soundly defeating him, right in front of Kyrie. Awkward. During the ensuing confusion, Agnus swoops in and kidnaps Kyrie. Credo and Nero put their feud aside for the time being, and Nero pursues Agnus. He runs into Dante again and the two battle each other, with Dante wanting Yamato back and Nero simply wanting to pass by him. Dante wins again, but decides to let Nero keep Yamato. Gloria appears behind Dante and reveals that she was Trish all along, having assumed the identity of Gloria to infiltrate the Order. Nero defeats Agnus, but before he can rescue Kyrie, she's kidnapped again by Sanctus. Nero goes after Sanctus and comes across the Order's secret weapon, a giant demonic statue known as the Savior. Sanctus plans to use Yamato and Sparta's power to bring it to life and, I don't know, take over the world, I guess? We never really get much of an end goal out of him. Nero faces off against him, but is unable to finish Sanctus off due to Sanctus using Kyrie as a human shield. He assimilates Nero into the Savior, revealing that while he had originally planned to use Dante as the Savior's core, Nero will work as a substitute because he's also a descendant of Sparta. Agnes takes Yamato into a hellgate that he built and uses it to unleash a horde of demons into the city as the Savior goes off to destroy everything in its way. Did you enjoy that story? Because we're only halfway done! Dante takes over as the main character now, heading backwards from the headquarters back to the opera house scene at the beginning of the game. Along the way, finishing off the demons that Nero battled, acquiring new devil arms, and destroying the other hellgates that Agnes built to stop the flow of demons. During this time, it's revealed that Dante and Trish came to Fortuna in the first place after hearing about the order from Lady, who... Okay, I'm not doing that joke again. Seriously, what's with all the sexy women in this game? Like I was saying, Lady tells Dante and Trish that the Order has been collecting devil arms. Trish steals Sparta's sword so she can offer it to them and infiltrate their ranks, and leaves a message for Dante to meet her in Fortuna. Dante eventually reaches the opera house, finishes off Agnes, and retrieves Yamato. He then has an epic final showdown with the Savior, severely damaging it and awakening Nero from its core. Nero takes over as the protagonist again, and fights his way through the inside of the Savior, and has his climactic duel with Sanctus, fully powered up by Sparta's sword. Nero finally slays Sanctus, frees Kyrie, and the day is saved! Until the Savior comes back in a crippled state to finish off Nero. Nero destroys it once and for all, and now the day is saved! Until some more demons show up, which, in Devil May Cry 3 fashion, Nero battles as the credits roll. In a post-credits scene, Trish and Lady are bickering over the small reward they were given for saving the world yet again, with Dante breaking up the fight. The phone rings with a new job, and the trio set out once again. Whew! Now that was a long one. Devil May Cry 4 has the most ambitious, epic story of the series by far. Does that ambition actually lead to a good story, however? I think so. The new characters, for the most part, are entertaining and interesting, and the returning cast is better than ever. This is Dante at his peak... Dante-ness, I guess you could say. Nero manages to subvert the common problem that games have when their iconic protagonist is replaced, namely that he offers a completely new perspective on the situation, and doesn't just act like he's trying too hard to be like the old protagonist, instead offering a more cynical, rebellious teenager-style outlook on life. He's also much more down-to-earth than Dante is, always treating the situation seriously, but he's also not afraid to talk smack to his opponents. The fact that our standard Doomsday villains have a lifelong connection to our hero offers some interesting twists on the formula as well, with Nero having to deal with his whole image of the world being shattered in front of him as he learns that the church he grew up in is secretly evil. Sanctus is a great villain as well, the kind that I just love to hate every time that he was on screen. He's very theatrical, but he doesn't chew the scenery like many other Capcom villains of the time, and the fact that he's able to hold his own in battle without resorting to sending out flunkies to fight for him shows that he's a force to be reckoned with. Dante is portrayed like he was in Devil May Cry 3, but even more sarcastic. He always has some kind of quip for the situation he's in, and never lets anything get him down. I know that Devil May Cry 3 is the fandom's favorite game, but I have to say that this right here is my favorite incarnation of Dante. Plus, he has a whole cutscene that's just him listing off his sex techniques while destroying a hellgate. How can you not love that? Now, while the characters are very well done, the plot itself does have a few issues, mainly towards the end of the game. First of all, the switch from Nero to Dante's perspective is very abrupt, and Dante lacks the story depth that Nero has, leaving him simply retracing Nero's steps and finishing off the demons that he left behind. He doesn't have any kind of arc like Nero does, which is a bit disappointing for such a major character. Nero's relationship with Kyrie is severely underplayed as well. We never really get a clear look at them together since she's gone for most of the plot, and are instead simply told that they're close friends that are in love with each other. I know that Devil May Cry games aren't really known for their amazing romance plots, but if you're gonna have it play such a big part of Nero's character, at least give us some flashbacks of the two of them growing up so we can see for ourselves how close they are, instead of simply having other characters narrated to us. Finally, while Sanctus's plan is by far the most fleshed out of all the Devil May Cry villains, we're never really given an end goal for him. He successfully created his savior monster, he goes on a rampage throughout Fortuna, and that's really it. We don't know if he wishes to conquer the world, or wipe out humanity, or even do some kind of genocide against those he sees as a threat. He just has his giant statue monster, and Dante and Nero are supposed to stop it before it does something. The voice acting here is the best that the series has ever had, with a cast of big-name voice actors including Johnny Young Bosch as Nero, who strangely enough is our second Power Ranger alumni to appear in Devil May Cry, Stephanie Shea as Kyrie, Ruben Langdon returning as Dante, and Liam O'Brien as Sanctus. Each one of them does a fantastic job, and successfully manages to avoid the overly cheesy deliveries that earlier Devil May Cry games were guilty of. It's really amazing how far the quality of acting has come since 2001, isn't it? The music is once again fantastic, with lots of catchy battle themes and atmospheric pieces. My favorite song on the soundtrack would have to be Nero's theme, if only for the opening line with its blatant innuendo that spawned 1,000 memes.
The time has come and so have I.
The graphics in this game are absolutely gorgeous. Every area looks beautiful and is wonderfully detailed and distinct. The character models are high quality, the lip syncing is correct for once, and animations are smooth and fluid. I played the PS4 version of the game, which runs perfectly in 60 FPS with no noticeable drops. While it doesn't push the abilities of its consoles to their limits, like, say, Metal Gear Solid 4 did for the PS3, it still looks great, and the visual upgrade it got in its 8th gen release looks fantastic. The PC version even includes a benchmark mode so you can see how the game will run on your computer so you can adjust any graphical settings you need to before playing, a feature I absolutely adore. The gameplay is pretty much Devil May Cry 3, but far more fine-tuned and fluid. Both characters have their own unique fighting styles, which helps the game avoid feeling the same when you switch characters. Nero's combat consists of his sword, the Red Queen, his Devilbringer arm, and his pistol. Unlike Dante, he doesn't get any new weapons along the way, instead gaining new abilities for his Devilbringer, ranging from a grappling hook to the ability to activate certain gyro weapons found in stages to aid you in battle. His Red Queen sword has a feature called the Exceed gauge. Basically, Nero can rev up his sword like an engine to build up additional power, which he can then release for stronger hits. It's got a bit of a risk versus reward system to it, as you can't attack while revving up the engine. As for Dante, he plays like his Devil May Cry 3 counterparts, but with the ability to switch between all of his styles with the press of a button, and the ability to rotate between all of your unlocked guns and weapons with the trigger buttons, as opposed to only having 2 of each equipped at a time. This makes it so you can string together insane combos if you know what you're doing. Abilities and items are now bought with separate forms of currency instead of both of them using red orbs. Red orbs are only used for items, while abilities are paid for using Proud Souls, which are awarded upon completing a level. This, combined with the option to refund the Proud Souls you already spent, allows you unprecedented freedom to experiment with abilities and find what exactly suits your gameplay style. One last thing to note is the updated re-release on PS4, Xbox One, and PC titled Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. In addition to running at 1080p 60 FPS, it includes not 1, not 2, but 3 new playable characters, each with their own unique stories and brand new cutscenes, namely Virgil, Lady, and Trish. I haven't played these yet because I only wanted to cover the core experience, but from what I've read, they offer a whole new insight into not only the events of Devil May Cry 4, but the events leading up to them as well, and each character has their own completely unique gameplay style instead of simply being model swaps of Dante or Nero. If you want to play Devil May Cry 4, this is without a doubt the version to get. Unfortunately, for some unexplained reason, it's only available digitally unless you import a physical copy from Asia. Once again, Capcom manages to screw over the physical collectors, I guess. Time for the verdict! Devil May Cry 4 takes the gameplay established by Devil May Cry 3 and both streamlines and improves it. The story is much more ambitious than any previous game in the series, but it doesn't quite live up to its full potential due to skipping out on necessary details. Both the new and old characters are charming and lovable, and overall, this is the most structurally solid game in the series. But does it beat Devil May Cry 3? Honestly, not so much. The latter half of the game suffers from repeating the first half's levels but in reverse, as opposed to giving us whole new areas to explore. This causes the second half to suffer a bit, whereas Devil May Cry 3 kept up a consistent pace throughout it. It just barely misses the mark, but it's still a fantastic game that I would recommend everyone pick up, especially the Special Edition, which is frequently on sale or included in Humble Bundles. Well, that just about wraps up the Devil May Cry marathon. Devil May Cry 5 was recently announced at E3 2018, which means that fans of Dante and Nero finally have something to look forward to after years of silence. Plus, it's not like I've deliberately avoided mentioning a certain game this whole time. Capcom definitely didn't attempt to reboot the franchise with a mediocre Western developer who shat all over the franchise's legacy, sold poorly, and caused the franchise to go into stasis for over 5 years, right? Right? Oh no. And now it is the time on Haseo Reviews when we do the unscripted outro. Hooray! Yeah, this is the part where I let you guys know that I really appreciate you guys being so patient waiting for this episode to come out. I'm so sorry that it took so long. I already gave my reasons in the beginning. I don't want to repeat all that shit again. Next episode, I've already got all the footage recorded for it in advance, so it should not take as long to come out. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. In the meantime, check out my other reviews. You can check out my streams. I've got a playlist of all my archive streams from the past, and you can check me out on Twitch, link on the screen. And also, I've got a Patreon now, as you may have noticed from the frankly obnoxious thing I've had at the beginning of my past few reviews. If you feel like supporting the channel, feel free to donate to me on Patreon, where you can view videos a full day early before they go up on YouTube, and get other rewards. I'm still working on reward tiers for higher stuff because I've had some things change. In the meantime, tune in whenever the next video comes out for DMC. I'm so looking forward to that one. You can tell how excited I am. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye!